Kelly Ripa, presenter of Live with Kelly and Mark, recently voiced worries about the safety of her husband, Mark Consuelos. Notably, he has been visiting Italy without her. She undoubtedly finds it hard to be apart from him, and she worries about him when he isn't around. Consuelos Mark and Ripa Kelly take off. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, co-hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark, have been traveling abroad whenever they can lately. The couple had the ideal excuse to dust off their passports and prioritize travel when their daughter, Lola, moved to London. They made time to party with friends in Morocco over the weekend. Mark then took a plane to Italy for a lengthy stay, continuing his tour. But in order to continue the show, Kelly had to return to the set. These two are unquestionably extending their adventurous horizons. While Mark Consuelos is away, Kelly Ripa receives assistance from others. But on the Live with Kelly and Mark show, a number of people have been taking Kelly Ripa's place while Mark Consuelos is away. Notably, Andy Cohen, a close friend of the couple, served as a stand-in while Mark was away. Steve Patterson also made his first appearance as a co-host since the COVID-19 stoppage. It's true that Kelly was already feeling tense due to Steve's return, a little worried that he may curse everyone once again by going back into the studio. But she acknowledges that the actual reason she was anxious was that Mark might be in danger. Mark Consuelos cherishes his group. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos share ownership of the Campobasso SC, an Italian soccer team. Notably, whenever possible, Mark makes the trip to see them live. Regretfully, that occasionally entails skipping work. When the more than 100-year-old soccer team was on the verge of winning the championship at the end of the season, he definitely wanted to be featured. Moreover, they have never achieved this extraordinary feat. In case Mark insisted on attending the matches in Italy, Kelly Ripa is concerned about the safety of Mark Consuelos. Following their 2-0 victory over Chieti, Mark Consuelos joyously posted on Instagram that the team had won the championship. Even while the team accomplished a great deal, Kelly Ripa started to worry that Mark wasn't safe during some of their talks. The town as a whole seemed to be enjoying the recent victory. She then reveals on Live with Kelly and Mark that she became more and more anxious as Mark jumped right in the center of the celebration. She admitted to Steve Patterson that she had been receiving crazy videos of the festivities from Mark. Kelly was undoubtedly concerned about his safety. She texted back, she said to Steve, "Are you okay?" Mark Consuelos was having a great time despite the turmoil that surrounded him. Kelly Ripa also assures the live audience that Mark will return shortly with a wealth of information regarding his journey. She is aware that he will bring a ton of pictures and videos so that everyone can participate in the significant team triumph. Mark appears to be having a good time while trying to stay dry. How do you feel about Kelly Ripa worrying about Mark Consuelos' security? Do you believe he is traveling with caution? Do you think their team's promotion to the 3rd division is exciting? This week, did you miss Mark on Live with Kelly and Mark? It was supposed to be an ordinary morning on Live with Kelly and Mark. Lighthearted, caffeinated, filled with laughter, inside jokes, and a dose of charming chaos between television's favorite real-life couple. But on this particular day, something was different. Kelly Ripa's bright energy carried a tinge of unease, a worry she couldn't quite shake, and it didn't take long for fans to notice. As the cameras rolled and the show began, Kelly smiled through her signature introduction, but her eyes told another story. Mark Consuelos, her husband and co-host, was missing from the opening moments. The audience murmured curiously as Kelly tried to maintain her usual composure. "He's fine," she assured them with a small laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes. "He just had a little situation this morning." The word situation immediately sent fans into a frenzy. Within minutes, social media lit up with concern. "Where's Mark? Is everything okay? Kelly looks worried." Kelly took a deep breath before continuing. "So here's what happened," she said, leaning forward slightly as though sharing a secret. Mark was supposed to take an early jog before the show. Nothing unusual. He's been doing this new fitness routine that involves running through Central Park at sunrise. Romantic, right? Except, this morning, he didn't text me when he usually does. I know. Kelly continued with her signature wit, trying to lighten the mood. He's a grown man. But if you've ever met Mark Consuelos, you know that man can't go 15 minutes without sending a voice memo about how beautiful the trees look. The audience laughed, but Kelly's expression softened again. So when I didn't hear from him for over an hour, I started imagining every possible scenario. And let me tell you, my imagination is vivid. I went from, he probably stopped for coffee, to he's being scouted for an action movie in the park, to he's been recruited by the FBI. Her co-host for the morning, producer Michael Gelman, tried to reassure her from offstage. I'm sure he's fine, Kelly. Oh, Gelman. You say that every time I panic, she quipped. But this time, my gut was doing that weird mom antenna thing. Then, almost on cue, the studio doors opened, and in walked Mark Consuelos, looking slightly disheveled but smiling sheepishly. The audience erupted in applause and relief. Kelly let out a dramatic sigh of pure, exaggerated exasperation and ran to him. Do you see what you do to me? She scolded, half laughing, half tearing up. I've been picturing you lost in the park, surrounded by squirrels plotting your demise. Mark wrapped his arms around her, chuckling. I'm okay, I promise. My phone died. And then a tourist recognized me and wanted to take a photo. And before I knew it, I was giving directions to a group of runners from Wisconsin. Kelly rolled her eyes. So, you're saying you were late because you were being America's tour guide? Mark nodded, still catching his breath. Basically. But even as the audience laughed and the energy returned to its usual fun rhythm, Kelly couldn't quite shake the emotional wave that had hit her earlier. She looked at him again, this time with a mix of relief and tenderness. You know, you scared me, she admitted softly, her voice cracking just enough to make the moment feel raw. You're my favorite person to worry about. The audience all weighed in unison, and even Gelman seemed momentarily touched. Later in the show, during their host chat segment, Kelly opened up more about how the morning scare made her reflect on the fragility of daily life, especially when it comes to someone you love. I think we take for granted that the people we love will always walk through the door at the right time, she said thoughtfully. And when they don't, even for a moment, your mind goes to the scariest places. That's just what happens when your heart's connected to someone else's. Mark reached across the desk and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. I promise to always text before my phone dies, he said. You'd better, Kelly shot back playfully. Because next time, I'm calling in a helicopter search team. I know people, Mark. The studio roared with laughter, but beneath the humor was something sincere. A glimpse of what makes the couple's on-screen chemistry so magnetic. Fans tune in not just for the jokes or celebrity guests, but because they see a marriage that feels real, affectionate, flawed, hilarious, and sometimes emotional. After the show aired, fans flooded social media with support for Kelly. You can tell how much she loves him, one viewer wrote. That moment when she said he's her favorite person to worry about, I cried. Another commented, Kelly's reaction was so real. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and that's why we adore her. Mark later took to Instagram to address the incident, posting a lighthearted selfie from the park. Phone died, got lost. Took selfies with strangers. Made it to work late. Moral of the story, bring a charger, he wrote. Kelly commented almost instantly, and a GPS chip I can track you with. The post garnered thousands of likes within hours, with fans jokingly offering to start a Find Mark hotline for future emergencies. But behind the humor, the moment highlighted something deeper. How even a couple as glamorous and public as Kelly and Mark aren't immune to the very human fear of losing someone you love. That evening, during an interview segment for the show's YouTube channel, Kelly reflected again on the experience. It's funny because we joke about everything. That's how we cope. But this morning reminded me that our time together isn't infinite, It made me want to hold on just a little tighter. Mark, sitting beside her, smiled. You already do, he said softly. The simplicity of his words seemed to quiet the room. For a couple that's been together for nearly 3 decades, moments like these remind fans why they've become one of TV's most beloved duos. Their connection goes beyond scripted banter. It's built on genuine care, deep understanding, and the kind of love that turns even small scares into reminders of gratitude.